Now, to bring us more on this latest development is Dr. Marcus Papadopoulos, the editor of Politics First, joining us via Skype. Dr. Papadopoulos, thank you for joining us. Firstly, what's your reaction to the coordinated effort by the West to punish Russia for the alleged poisoning?
Well, it's abundantly clear to anyone that Theresa May has failed in her ambition to gather world opinion against Russia. After all, 20 or so countries have shown solidarity to Britain over the tragic events in Salisbury, but that is only 20 countries. That means the vast majority, the overwhelming majority of countries in the world are not showing solidarity with Britain. They're not showing sympathy with Britain. And if we take the European Union, for instance, the vast majority of EU member states have refused to expel Russian diplomats. So quite frankly, I think Theresa May has failed and has failed miserably.
But to be fair, these are pretty powerful countries, the US, Australia, just to name two. They're big countries which arguably Russia has to deal with. Where do you think this is going to go in the long term?
Well, those countries you just cited are indeed powerful, but so too is China, so too is India, so too is South Africa, so too is Brazil and the rest of Latin America. And none of those countries which I have just cited are showing solidarity with Theresa May. They are refusing to endanger their relations with the Russian Federation. Now, as regards the future for London, for relations between London and Moscow, well, the event in Salisbury is serious, there's no question about it, but it is part and parcel, historically speaking, of a very troublesome relationship between Britain and Russia. Ever since diplomatic relations were established between both countries, there have been numerous incidents which have aggravated the relationship. Indeed, they went to war with each other in the Crimea. So yes, the Skripal affair is serious, but sooner or later both sides will get back to maintaining their relationship, albeit an extremely problematic relationship.
So by the sounds of it, it seems as if some countries may be using this as an opportunity to exploit the situation to pile more pressure onto Russia. Would you agree with that?
I would certainly agree with that. I believe that Britain is attempting to exploit a tragic event to justify the anti-Russian campaign, which itself and America has been waging ferociously since the Ukraine crisis erupted in 2014. It's a way for London and Washington to justify existing Western sanctions on Russia. It's a way to justify NATO's military presence on the western borders of the Russian Federation. And it's also a way to justify Ukraine being admitted to NATO. So there's no question about it. The British and, of course, their most ardent friend and ally in the world, the United States, are attempting to exploit this situation.
And finally, how important is Russia as a world power? Large economy, military power as well. Can the West really afford to boycott Russia diplomatically like they are?
Well, no one is boycotting Russia diplomatically. London has not severed relations with Russia, and London will not sever relations with Russia, and no other country in the world will do so. There is a very serious situation regarding current relations between London and Moscow. Indeed, Moscow regards its relationship with the United Kingdom as being of secondary importance. Now, in regard to Russia's position in the world, well, of course, Russia under Vladimir Putin has resurrected much of its lost superpower status. It is a military superpower. It is a nuclear superpower. And, of course, it is an energy superpower. And much of Britain's gas, where does it come from? Well, it comes from Russia. So it's not in Britain's interests realistically speaking, to maintain this ongoing attack on Russia over Salisbury.
OK, Dr. Marcus Papadopoulos, thank you very much for joining us in the studio here today.